Tonight, science fiction radio, right here, watching it live with us, listening live. You'll hear it, you'll see it, you'll be able to react to it just like me and my co host. It's time for Captain John's Haunted Radio from Space.
Good evening, friends.
It's off center. Oh, that drives me crazy. Drives me mad, I tell you, mad. Oh, man, I love this show. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Captain John here on Starbase 80. We do the Haunted Radio from Space every Sunday night. And when I say we, I mean me and my fantastic co-host, a writer, a thinker, a man about town, a fantastic guy to have on your show. He is available, but not on Sunday nights. I got him then. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my good friend, Joe Townsell. Mr. Townsell.
Oh, I was looking for somebody that might have been coming up behind me with all those wonderful things. It couldn't have been about me, but I guess you were talking about me, Captain John. How are you tonight?
The accolades are all yours, my friend. I am good, and I know you're always so positive, and I appreciate it so much. You bring so much positivity to the show, and you and I had a good long talk after the debut last week of Haunted Radio from Space, and boy, it just got me in the mood. You know, it just got me all excited. Of course, my weeks are very busy. I'm sure everybody's are. So I tried to sneak in as much time to prepare for the show as possible. We're still looking for that sweet spot for the look. I'm kind of digging the sound. Gotta admit, I pay money to a service. What's it called? Storyblocks.com. And oh man, I love that theme song. Oh God, I love that theme song. It just reminds me of something Jim Russo would do, who's just like one of my favorite science fiction composers right now. He does all of the current Star Trek shows, and anyway, patting myself on the back.
If I was there, I'd do the same thing. Can I reach into your box?
There we go. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Okay, let's get to the show tonight. We're gonna start off with our appetizer, our amuse-bouche of a delicious. Actually, amuse-bouche comes before the appetizer. It's just a delightful little flavor of old-time science fiction. It is from the end of April 1935.
Wow.
Flash Gordon. The Flash Gordon radio show. He'll save every one of us.
I assume that we won't be hearing Queen tonight, though, right?
We will not be hearing Queen. That is not the era of Flash Gordon that we will be indulging in. As a matter of fact, you may see some visuals that go with this that refer to Buster Crabbe, who, of course, was the great on-camera Flash Gordon. That is not the actor playing Flash Gordon in this show. If you can guess, I'll tell you by the end of the show who is playing Flash, unless I can't remember if it's in their on-air credits, but if you can guess this, you're amazing. But I will tell you that people who know old-time TV will know this actor, and he's fantastic. I just love him so much. So let me, I forgot which one is which. Okay. Hopefully I pressed the right button here. And Joe rules. This is like a 13 to 15 minute show. I can't remember exactly. So the rules, as always on Haunted Radio, apply. If you put your hand up, or even if you just speak, if I'm, tripping around trying to find other things I can put up on the screen, we'll stop it and we'll talk very briefly, and then we'll jump right back into it. That is how we do things on Haunted
Yes.
Radio. Joe and I are creating this show as we go. So if you're able to watch us live, that's Sunday nights, 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And we hope you'll join us live. But here it is, my friends, our first radio show of the evening, Flash Gordon. Good, I got the right one. Thank goodness. All right, let me turn up
Presenting for the first time in radio the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Arden.
Thank you, public domain images.
These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, now printed in 32 tabloid-sized pages, each page in full 4 colors, is distributed everywhere as a part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Racing high above the earth, comfortably seated in a giant airliner, Flash Gordon, internationally famous athlete, looks admiringly across the aisle at Dale Arden. Minds of both are intent on the terrible destruction which for many months has been approaching the earth with terrific speed. The new planet hurtling through space directly in the path of the earth. Suddenly there's a violent jar. The plane lurches into a spinning nosedive. Flash Gordon carry him across the aisle to the frightened girl. He gathers her in his arms and leaps free of the falling plane, and pulling the ripcord of his parachute, glides to earth.
Don't be frightened, Dale. The plane has crashed, but we're safe.
Yes.
Hold fast. We're landing now. Careful. Easy. There. Dale?
Yes.
Good, good.
Oh, look, Flash. There's a round steel tower. Where can we be?
Why, that's the laboratory of the great scientist, Dr. Hans Zarkov. Why, he's coming this way. I'll call to him to help us. I hope you'll pardon us for breaking in on you so unceremoniously, Doctor, but you see, we had to bail out.
I know you for what you are. Spy. Come to secret. But I have the answer to that. Come with me.
Put that gun away, Professor Zarkov. The man is mad, Dale. We'll have to humor him. All right, Professor. All right. We'll come
Humor
with
the
you.
guy with the gun.
Rather
Yes.
into this tower.
All right, all right.
There now, we are in my rocket ship, and in 10 seconds we are way to the new planet.
They got in the
All
rocket
die.
ship already.
Die for science.
Oh, Flash, the doctor is mad. His rocket ship is rushing away from the Earth with the speed of light, right into the path of the new planet.
Hold tight, Dale. We'll escape some way.
To the new planet. The new planet. We three will save the Earth.
Dr. Zarkov, there's still time to swing your rocket out of the path of the new planet.
No.
What will you gain for science if we're all killed in the crash?
I know who you are, Flash Gordon.
Okay, yeah, I got to stop it there too. First off, I gotta apologize for this audio. It's a 1935 show, so there seems to be some reel-to-reel problems on this one. It keeps cycling quietly, so I apologize for that. Joe, your observation so far?
Well, first, John, I mean, I have to say, I think that's part of the charm of listening to it anyway, is that we're not, getting any kind of high definition audio here, obviously.
That's for sure, yeah.
But it just means that we're just really on the edge of our seats here and listening to that high drama. My impressions at this point, and again, I probably shouldn't be thinking these terms, but boy, they really, based on what I'm seeing, I know the visuals aren't supposed to go along with the show itself, but
yeah, they're not
it's
a
in the same
one-to-one.
spirit.
Yeah,
right. But I'll tell you, man, they did a fantastic job, if I may say so, in recreating the feel of Flash Gordon in the 1980 movie.
I absolutely agree. A lot of things that we see in these images are things that were in the movie as well.
Right.
My favorite being the King of the Hawkmen,
Yes.
because he just looks like that's not a guy who should be in a loincloth.
No.
But he's got the big crazy beard. He's got the helmet with the wings on it. I mean, yeah, they worked really hard on these visuals. Gotta
And you
give
know,
it
I
up.
mean, and we know that this show we're listening to comes from the Sunday Funnies, and
Yeah.
and you know, so it's a natural progression. It seems like going from that to the radio program, and then on to other adventures in in the future.
Yes,
So,
yes. And I'll throw a couple of factoids before we jump right in.
Sure.
First off, as you can well hear, that the sponsor is the Hearst newspapers, and they especially want you to buy the Sunday paper, which always was more expensive, of course,
Right.
more advertisers. And Flash Gordon, beautifully, I think Alex Raymond is the artist at the time. It's a beautiful strip, and people loved it. Here's one more factoid, which I know you'll dig, Joe.
Yes.
Flash Gordon was a ripoff of Buck Rogers.
Well, I say I never knew which came first, the chicken or the egg, so to speak.
I was shocked to find out that Buck Rogers came first, which is kind of interesting because Buck Rogers doesn't have quite the stunning visuals and the wild imagination of Flash, I would say. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I could be proven wrong later when we listen to some Buck Rogers, which we will do. But it's very exciting. It's very over the top the way they do it, and of course the story is going a mile a minute here. Within like 5 minutes, we've gone from a plane to just happened to crash outside Dr. Zarkov's laboratory, just happened to be taken by gunpoint into a rocket. Now we just happen to be flying towards Mongo. Mongo, the new planet, which entered our solar system and is attacking Earth. So here we go. Back to the story.
All righty.
But your trained strength will not save you. Only my mind, the mind of Zarkov, his scientist, can save you, can save any human soul upon the earth.
Be careful, Flash. He's reaching for the controls.
Stand aside, Dr. Zarkov.
Feel it, the gravitation pull of the new planet. We crash in 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Hey, timed out pretty well.
The rocket ship hits the planet. Dr. Zarkov and Dale are thrown from the rocket ship unconscious. Flash is thrown clear of the wreckage and lands on his feet uninjured.
On
He
his
rushes to the
feet.
side of the unconscious girl, picks her up, and starts to carry her toward the distant towers of a city on this weird new planet. Suddenly, strange soldiers armed with ray guns appear, and capturing Dale and Flash, force them to come with them to the throne room of Ming the Merciless, Emperor of Mongo and Supreme Ruler of the Universe.
Darth Vader has nothing on Ming.
One of my favorite characters in fiction, Ming the Merciless.
Oh, thou exalted Ming, majesty of Mongo, supreme ruler of all the peoples of the new planet, thy slaves salute thee.
Slaves, bring forward the Earth people.
Thy slaves obey, O Ming the Merciless.
Take your hands off me. I'm no slave. As a free man and an equal.
So, Earthman, you are a free man and my equal. Throw him to the red monkey man in the arena.
The monkey man.
Force it is
The red
free
monkey man.
My equal.
There is thy freedom, Earthman. Now you go into the arena to meet the red monkey men of Mongo.
No, wait. Don't worry, Dale. Emperor Ming, I'll show you that I, a free man from the Earth, am more than a match for your brainless red monkey men.
Flash reaches the bottom step leading to the arena. He leaps and swings at the nearest edge. Then, grasping the falling man beast under the armpit, Flash twirls him around like a flail, knocking the others in all directions. Emperor Ming, fearing that his monkey men will all be killed, orders his soldiers to destroy Flash with their ray guns. In the midst of the confusion,
Little Robin Hood here,
Princess
looks like.
Aura, the beautiful young daughter of Emperor Ming, calls to Flash.
Quick, brave Earthman. This way. Here to my balcony.
Flash leaps to the royal balcony and joins the gorgeously jeweled princess, who commands the slaves to keep back, while she takes Flash through a secret door and into a passage leading to a private elevator. The two get in, and Aura closes the door and presses the switch.
Who are you, beautiful maiden?
I am the Princess Aura, only daughter of Ming the Merciless.
Princess.
Oh.
Now, I love Princess Aura, one of my favorite characters, no matter what version of Flash Gordon I'm watching. I do love that Ming the Merciless is obviously some kind of space Asian guy.
Yes.
The daughter, I don't know what the director told her, but she was like, I'm going to do Russian. I'm good with Russian. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, the East. Okay, sure. Any observations before we jump back in, Joe?
Yes, I just observation or question. I wonder, speaking of that chicken and the egg thing, who came first? Is Ming influenced by Fu Manchu or vice versa? I wonder.
I believe Fu Manchu comes first. I could take a quick look, but that's an excellent question. It is a very turn of the century notion in the Western world that Asians, especially Chinese, are evil, that they're the other, and there's some kind of, incredibly alien human, cousin of ours. I mean, good God, we're all the same, but
Well, and the only observation I have in my mind at this moment is got to picture those. How many adjectives do we have? Brainless red monkey men.
The red monkey men of Mongo. I'm kicking myself that I didn't try to find a picture of a red monkey man. There must be some drawing out there of it. Yeah. Okay. So here we go back into the show.
Show you my life.
You are brave and handsome. You must not die so young. I have never seen anyone like you, Earthman.
Where I come from, Princess, there are many stronger men and better looking. But tell me, Princess, where are you taking me?
I am taking you to the private landing frames of my own rocket cars. There you will be safe.
There's Lando Calrissian, I think.
We have arrived, Earthman. Get in this rocket car. No one can harm you here.
But, Princess,
Hurry.
But, Princess, how am I to rescue the Earth girls? They are lost.
That is why you are in my private rocket car, Earthman.
Why, what do you mean?
They are and shall never be rescued by you.
The Princess!
As for you, Earthman, you shall love me or die.
You shall love me or die. Never get in a rocket car with somebody who does that.
Yes. Go
Meanwhile,
shotgun wedding.
back in the palace, Emperor Ming is talking with Dale Arden.
Your companion Flash Gordon has escaped, but not for long. My men will soon capture him.
What are you going to do with me, Emperor Ming?
Pleasing to me, Earthwoman, you will become my wife.
Never! I don't love you.
We men of Mongo have no human traits, no love, no mercy, no kindness. Whether you love me or not makes no difference. You shall become my wife as soon as the ceremony can be arranged.
Your Majesty, look into the spacergraph. Our city is being bombarded by the space gyros of the Lion Men.
The Lion Men order the entire space fleet to the attack.
In the terrific battle which takes place between Emperor Ming's space fleet and the gyros of the Lion Men, the attacking the rocket ship in which Flash Gordon has been held captive is destroyed, and Flash is thrown to the ground
Okay, hang on. You see, in the graphic, he's holding that guy up.
Yeah.
I believe that's a red monkey man.
Oh, there's a red monkey man.
That's what it looks
Well,
like.
I was gonna observe that we've gone from the monkey men to the lion men, so it's getting even more dangerous.
It's
And I have to point out, how naive is Dell anyway? She's expecting love and mercy from Ming the Merciless. I mean, come on.
Has anyone mentioned his last name to her? Has anyone mentioned the descriptor, Merciless?
You know that you mentioned it. I don't. Maybe not. So maybe that's coming.
I'm not sure. And to answer your question from before, Fu Manchu was created in 1913.
Okay.
So definitely before Flash Gordon. It is 1935, but I think the Flash Gordon comic strip has been around for a little while, maybe 1 or 2 years at this point. Okay, here we go. Back into the story. The
right.
space gyros piloted by lion men attacking Mongo. Oh, I love this. I love it.
Unconscious. He opens his eyes to find himself staring up into the great bearded face of Soon, Prince of the Lion Men. Soon lets his great sword fall as he sees Flash Gordon's white skin.
Who art thou, white-skinned youth? Speak, answer me before I cleave thy white body in pieces. Art thou a new kind of soldier of Ming the Merciless?
I am the sworn enemy of that fiend Emperor Ming of Mongo. He has captured a girl who is from the earth, like myself. I live only to rescue her.
An earthman, thou sayest?
Yes,
And an enemy of Ming the Merciless?
that's right.
There it is.
Tell me, are you friend or enemy?
I am Thun, Prince of the Lion Men, hereditary enemies of the men of Mongo. If thou wilt accept me as thy friend, Earthman, I will gladly join thee against me.
Here's my hand on his entrance, Soon.
Good. What is thy name, Earthman?
I am called Flash Gordon upon the earth, Your Highness.
Call me Thun, friend, and I will call thee Flash.
Friend Soon, do you know how we can gain admittance to the palace that we may rescue Dale Arden?
Come, I will show thee a secret way into the palace.
Good.
The Emperor Ming is away pursuing my gyro fleet. We may be able to rescue the Earth Girl or Ming return.
Mr. Townsell.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm getting a crash course in dramatic acting tonight. Every word of importance needs to be extended for dramatic effect. Ming of Mongo.
Yes, I am
Merciless.
Thun. Flash Gordon. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And one of the things that's very typical of old time radio is they constantly use each other's names, which would be so annoying, Joe Townsell, if we were to do that, Joe Townsell. Wouldn't you agree? Joe
John
Townsell?
Weber, I would tend to agree, John Weber, but I guess John Weber, it's necessary just keep track of who's talking.
Exactly. And it's one of the little things you learn as you go along with radio. Okay. We got about 1/3 of the show left, so let's roar right into it.
Let's finish it out.
Flash Gordon and his powerful newfound friend go first to the space gyro of Prince Soon, and there they gaze intently into the thought projector, in which they not only see Dale Arden a captive, but they also have revealed to them a secret way leading to the throne room of the palace.
And
The
that's
secret
handy.
passage is known as the Tunnel of Terror because of the deadly beasts which lie within its gloomy walls. Fighting Flash and his new friend, Prince Soon, finally find themselves within the palace. A door with great steel bolts stands before them.
Quick, Soon. This door must lead directly into the center of the palace.
From my palace, I should say that beyond this door is the great throne room of the Emperor Ming.
All right, then. Here we go.
The Emperor Ming.
There. You're right, Soon. It is the throne room.
Yes, this great statue before us is the god of death, which stands at the top of the altar steps, directly behind the throne of the emperor.
Listen. Soon, what's that?
By the great god Tao, it is royal wedding procession. Ming the Merciless taking another bride.
Hail Ming.
Circle around the idol means death. Thou must not.
Come back, Flash. Soon, save yourself. I'm going to the rescue of my Earth friend, Dale Arden. She's being forced into a marriage with Ming the Merciless.
Prince Soon of the Lion Men does not save himself at the expense of his friend.
Nope.
If thou must die, I will die fighting with thee.
Dale, this way, Dale.
Gotta love Thun.
Man, it's quite a commotion.
This way, Dale.
Down this passage, Earth Maiden, as fast as thou canst run, quick Soon.
They're swarming up the order steps. Help me topple the idol over on them. Now, 1, 2, 3. With
a grinding crash, the giant idol topples over on the onrushing soldiers of Ming the Merciless, killing those in front and throwing into confusion the whole company. Flash Gordon and Prince Soon, with Dale between them, dash into the secret passage beneath the idol. The way becomes steeper. They slip. Down, 100 feet or more into a whirling underground river. They're swept along down a raging current and over a falls into a lake. With the powerful strokes of the champion swimmer, Flash sets out for the shore, towing Dale by the hair. They reach the shore, and as Flash reaches down to drag Dale to safety, she screams and disappears beneath the calm surface of the lake, clutched in two powerful green, scaly arms. With no thought of his own safety, Flash Gordon dives to Dale's rescue and finds an adventure stranger than any which has gone before.
Oh my goodness.
Follow the thrilling adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Arden each Sunday in your Hearst Sunday newspaper. You will find them
Every
graphically
Sunday.
portrayed in full-colored pictures in the Comic Weekly. Only in the Comic Weekly can you follow the escapades of the Katzenjammer Kid, those perennial rascals, or thrill to the adventures of King of the Royal Mountain. Only in the Comic Weekly can you enjoy the good, clean fun of Bringing Up Father, Tilly the Toiler, Way Out West, The Little King, or in the language of his hillbilly friends, go clean catawampus over the bodacious goings-on of Barney Google. Your old friend Skippy and all his little pals are waiting for you in the Comic Weekly, along with Pinky, Molly, and Pat in their great adventure stories, Radio Patrol. Then there is Ace Drummond, the Demon Aviator, Johnny Round the World, and many, many others. Be sure you get this big 32-page all-color Comic Weekly
Oh, my.
supplement with your copy of next Sunday's Hearst newspaper. And don't fail to listen again next week to the continuation of the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon and...
Well, there you go. That is chapter 1 from 1935 of Flash Gordon. I will do my best to clean up audio from now on because, man, this one was a little rough to listen to. But
That's why we got it. And we hear all the, of course, that's a big part of, the different inflections in the performances to keep them straight.
yeah,
And I'm sure that got easier as the chapters went on. But what happens next, Captain John? I gotta wait a whole week.
isn't it? This is the thing about old time radio. I have found over and over again. I cannot wait to listen to the next chapter. It just totally hooks me. Okay, now I'm going to add I'm gonna do a little share screen deal here, and I'm gonna find this tab. And
Now, is it time for me to ask who the well-known old-time TV actor was that plays Flash?
it very much is time. Let me get this. You'll know him once you see him. But
It's a wild guess on my part. It's probably not right. I'm going to guess James Arness.
you are incorrect. James
Oh.
Arness would have been too young at this point.
Too
Sorry,
young,
I'm
okay.
going through this.
Oh, you really are full
This is
service.
so dumb. I did not
800
plan
got
this.
junk and
Gail Gordon,
Gail Gordon,
Mr. Mooney.
Mr. Mooney from the Lucy Show.
Oh my!
At college, I was an all-round athlete. I had a fine build, bulging muscles. Of course, that's all behind me now.
Mrs. Mooney. Oh, I know. He was Mooney.
Now, he was Mooney.
Oh,
she
my
was
God.
Carmichael. My
Mrs.
goodness.
Carmichael. Good Lord. I had no idea. I had no idea Gail Gordon could somersault.
News to me. I would never guess this about Gail Gordon. Wow.
That's a swashbuckling fella right there. He played Flash Gordon. Played many roles.
How about that?
And I do love that those are actual gymnasts behind him. You can just see the great builds they have. Go out,
Yes.
do a cartwheel, and Give the folks a
Lucy's
little
Comic 12
something.
for, God, 20 years. I know it was 16 years straight on the two Lucy shows back to back, playing the same character, basically.
Yes, exactly. And what was interesting about that, hang on, I've got the YouTube still talking in the background. What was really interesting was he was supposed to be the original Fred Mertz.
I think I did know that, yes.
And he was already committed to another radio show that was turned into a television show. I Love Lucy was kind of based in radio. She had done a show called My Favorite Husband.
My Favorite Husband, right.
It was very different when, she went to TV because she used her actual husband as her husband, Desi Arnaz. But Gail Gordon was playing the principal of the school that Miss Brooks works at on the television show starring Eve Arden, our Miss Brooks, and was fantastic.
How about that?
Just always good. So yes, Gail Gordon played Flash Gordon. Freaky, but true.
Now, see, now it totally makes sense. And of course, my mind went straight to like, okay, James Arness was, the thing originally, but you're right. That would have been close to 20 years later. So he was a little bit young,
Yeah. In 1935, and basically I think Gail Gordon got the part because they were producing the show in New York. So whatever New York actors were handy, a lot of times the guys would just go for roles, and Orson Welles ends up being the Shadow.
Right.
You've got these very, respected actors, but they're working actors. So they take on whatever role. I would love it if Gail Gordon were still alive and we could ask him, what did you think when you first saw this script?
Well, with all due reverence to Gail Gordon, who I love in all the shows we've talked about, maybe that's where the expression comes from, face for radio.
Yes.
It certainly didn't look like Flash Gordon.
And they're like, he's a powerfully muscled man making his way through the rapids, swimming. And Gail Gordon. Hello, with my tiny mustache. I'm Gail Gordon. Okay. We are off to a great start here on the show. Let's go to our big presentation. That's the little two-reeler. Now we're going to go to our main presentation of the show. It is, I'm going to wait for our first break before I really break down the information, because they do a nice job on this show.
Okay.
This is an anthology show called Columbia Workshop. The Columbia Broadcasting System exists to this very day. CBS.
Oh, so they're related.
They are one and the same.
Okay, I didn't know there was an earlier version of CBS. So
yes. CBS started out in radio. Columbia, of course, the Columbia Record Company was where all that started, and they were making radios as well. So, part of radio, as we discussed last week, was sometimes there are advertisers for Flash Gordon. That would be the Hearst newspapers. Sometimes there were no advertisers. A show was considered prestige if it did not have a sponsor. And that is the case with Columbia Workshop. It was a jewel in the crown for the Columbia Broadcasting System. And it lasted for 20 years. And some of the best writers and directors and producers in radio worked for this anthology show, making Hamlet with the aforementioned Orson Welles, making adaptations of Poe and Dickens and Hawthorne and great authors. It was a little fancy. The Tiffany Network is what CBS would eventually become, and this was a very Tiffany Network approach. We're going to listen to probably one of the most high-tone science fiction shows we will ever listen to on Haunted Radio.
Okay, well, let me spruce myself up a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, we better get our tuxedos on, because it's about to get really fancy here on the Haunted Radio. Okay, here we go. Start off Columbia Workshop, and they will fill in some blanks for me and explain more of the show to you.
Play of the machine men, RUR. The place, an island. Time, the future.
Rossum's Universal Robots.
Ready, Sulla?
Yes.
To the E.B. Hyson Agency, New York, USA. We beg to acknowledge receipt of order for 5,000 robots. As you are sending your own vessel, please dispatch as cargo equal quantities of salt and hot coal for RUR, the same to be credited as part payment of the amount due to us. We beg to remain for Rossum's Universal Robots. Yours truly, Harry Drummond, General Manager. Another letter to E.M. McVicker and Company, Southampton, England. We undertake no guarantee for freight damage in transit. Consequently, we must insist on full payment for the 5,000 robots shipped to you last month. Yours truly, etc. That's all, Sulla.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, Miss Glory. We've been terribly busy. Now, what can I do for you?
Mr. Drummond, I should like to look over your famous factory.
You no doubt know, Miss Glory, that our method of manufacturing people is a closely guarded secret.
I thought perhaps you'd make an exception.
Surely, as President Glory's daughter, you've had chance enough to examine the robots we've sent over to you?
I've observed the way they work, Mr. Drummond. That's all.
I see. Well, Miss Glory, we shall consider it a special honor to show you more than we do the rest. But you must agree not to
My
divulge...
word of honor.
Thank you. Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Well,
You're very young?
21. Why do you ask?
I was wondering, that's all. You will make a long stay with us, won't you?
That depends on how much of the factory you show me.
You shall see everything. But first, wouldn't you like to hear the story of the invention?
Yes, indeed.
Well, it was in the year 1920 that old Rossum, the great physiologist, took himself to this distant island for the purpose of studying the ocean fauna. This time he attempted to imitate the living matter known as protoplasm. Mm-hmm. He worked until he suddenly discovered a substance which behaved exactly like living matter, although its chemical composition was different. Miss Glory, that was a tremendous moment.
I imagine it was.
Now, the thing to do now was to get the life out of the test tube and form organs, bones, nerves, and the rest. This artificial living matter of his had a raging thirst for life. And so he set about imitating nature.
And what happened?
Well, after several years, he made an artificial dog, which died in a few days.
Oh.
And then old Rossum started on the manufacture of man. He was mad, of course. The old crank actually wanted to make people.
But you do make people.
Approximately, Miss Glory.
Oh, I see.
Old Rossum decided to manufacture everything as in the human body. It took him 10 years to produce a bungling attempt that was to have been a man. It lived for 3 days only. Then up came young Rossum.
Young Rossum?
Yes, his son, an engineer.
Oh.
When he saw what a mess of it his father was making, he said, it's absurd to spend 10 years making a man. If you can't make him quicker than nature, you might as well shut up shop.
And what did young Rossum do?
He invented a worker with a minimum amount of requirements. He rejected man and made a robot. Mechanically, they are more perfect than we are. They have enormously developed intelligence, but they have no soul.
How do you know they have no soul?
Have you ever seen what a robot looks like inside?
No, I haven't.
Very neat, very simple, everything in flawless order. An engineer's product. More perfect than a product of nature.
The robots I've seen are so strange and quiet. Do they live very long?
Well, the best grade live about 20 years.
And then they die.
They get used up. Sulla.
Yes, sir.
Come over here. I want you to meet Miss Glory.
How do you do, Miss Glory?
Very well, thank you, Sulla. You must find it terribly dull in this out-of-the-way spot.
I don't know, Miss Glory.
Why? Where do you come from?
From the factory.
Oh, well, you were born there.
I was made there.
Made there?
Sulla's a robot, the best grade.
A robot? Oh, she can't be.
Oh, I admit she doesn't seem to be made of different material from us. We make rather good skin. Feel her face, Miss Glory.
No. No, I don't want to do anything of the kind.
Turn around, Sulla.
Oh, stop. Stop. Sulla's a girl like me. This is outrageous. Sulla, why do you take part in such a hoax?
I am a robot.
No. No, you're not telling the truth.
I'm sorry, Miss Glory. Sulla is a robot.
It's a lie.
Then I must convince you. I shall take her into the dissecting room and cut her open.
You wouldn't have her killed.
You can't kill a machine.
Oh, they all were so cruel to you, Sulla. You mustn't put up with it. You mustn't.
I am a robot.
That doesn't matter. Sulla, you wouldn't let yourself be cut to pieces.
Yes,
You're not afraid of death?
I cannot tell, Miss Glory.
Do you know what they will do to you in the dissecting room?
Yes, I should cease to move.
That's death, Sulla. Aren't you afraid of death?
No.
You see, Miss Glory? The robots have no interest in life. They have no enjoyment. Why, they are less than so much grass.
Oh, stop. Send her away.
You may go, Sulla.
Yes, Mr. Dominik.
How terrible. It's outrageous what you're doing.
Oh, no, Miss Glory. After a while, you will understand. When to stop work. This afternoon, I shall show you the machines that mix the ingredients for 1,000 robots at a time. And the vats for the preparation of liver, brain, and so on. And the bone factory. And the spinning mill.
A spinning mill?
Yes, for weaving nerves.
Okay, I'm going to just pause it there because my internet's being a little hinky. So what do you think of it so far, Joe?
Well, I have a lot to say about it so far. First of all, it's quite chilling. I mean, we make allusions not only to robots, androids, but aspects of cloning, and near perfection in some ways, imperfection in others, as far as duplicating human beings.
Right.
And I can definitely see influences here and things of this era. For future writings and programs and movies and so forth, including yours truly. I mean, shameless plug, but I wrote Made to Order a couple years ago, which is tackles this subject on various levels, and it's very affecting. And I'll tell you another reason that makes it very sophisticated is because they use the word robots.
I love that. I love that so much. I had a friend. We were co-writers in the 90s. We wrote a lot of comedy stuff together, and to him, one of the greatest things in the world was the fact that in the old days there were two pronunciations: robot and robots. And now there's a little bit of history to this. Now, I, of course, alluded to the fact that it's from Columbia Workshop. It did air in April, just like our Flash Gordon episode did, of 1937.
Okay.
That, however, was long after Rossum's Universal Robots made its debut. It debuted as a play, as a stage play.
Wow. Interesting.
And it was published in Prague, Czechoslovakia. It is a Czechoslovakian creation. Karel Čapek, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, first wrote it in 1920, and he would give credit to his brother for coming up with the phrase robot.
Okay.
And that was the first appearance, that was the first use of the word robot. This play created, there had been automatons before, but really very much like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, this is Čapek's, creation, the robot.
Well, there definitely is a creepiness factor here because it also reminds me of things you see currently where they have very realistic robots, androids, whatever the correct usage is in that case. And I've seen many videos where a robot very much like the one we're listening to right now, in a very calm, dispassionate, but human-like voice says, yes, we will conquer the human race. And I'm getting that vibe.
That's where this whole thing is coming from. And you're not even giving away the end. That's actually why this is such a good script. And it is one of the very first. It is the very first story of man creating robots and then robots coming into their own and threatening man. It's fascinating stuff. And are you ready to jump back in?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
And veins. Miles and miles of digestive tubes pass through it.
Mayn't we talk about something else?
Oh, perhaps it would be better. Do you know that there are only a handful of us human beings among 100,000 robots? And not a single woman? Not one woman, Miss Glory? Hello, Gall. Gentlemen. Miss Glory, allow me to introduce my colleagues. This is Dr. Gall, head of the Psychological and Experimental Department.
Highly honored, I'm sure.
Dr. Gall.
Dr. Holmeyer, head of the Institute for the Psychological Training of Robots.
Delighted to meet you, Miss Glory.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Fabry, General Technical Manager of RUR. How do you do?
How do you do?
Council Busman, General Business Manager, and Mr. Altwist, head of the Building Department.
How do you do?
Miss Glory is President Glory's daughter, gentlemen. She has come to look over our factory.
Mr. Dolman and gentlemen, I may as well be frank. I've really come to disturb your robots for you. I'm from the Humanity League.
My dear Miss Glory, every ship brings us saviors.
And you let them speak to the robots?
Why not? The robots don't even laugh at what people say.
Why should they? Don't you think that if you were to show them a little love...
Impossible, Miss Glory. Nothing is harder to love than a robot.
Then why do you make them?
For work, Miss Glory. One robot can replace 2.5 workmen.
What is the aim of your league, Miss Glory?
The Humanity League wants to liberate them. Treat them like human beings.
That wouldn't do, Miss Glory. They're only workmen. They've no will of their own, no passion, no soul.
No love?
Love? Robots don't love. Not even themselves.
No defiance?
Defiance? I don't know. Only rarely, from time to time.
What do they do?
They suddenly sling down everything they're holding, stand still, and gnash their teeth. It's evidently some breakdown in the mechanism, or just a flaw in the works that has to be removed.
No. That's the soul.
It'll be remedied, Miss Glory. I'm making some experiments at present. I'm making pain nerves.
Pain nerves?
Yes. The robots feel practically no bodily pain. You see, young Rothman provided them with too limited a nerve system. We must introduce suffering.
Why do you want to cause them pain?
For industrial reasons, Miss Glory. Sometimes the robot does damage to himself because it doesn't hurt him. He puts his hand into the machine, breaks his finger, smashes his head. All the same to him. We must provide them with pain. That's an automatic protection against damage.
Will they be happier when they feel pain?
Oh, on the contrary. They'll be more perfect from a technical point of view.
Dr. Gall, why don't you create a soul for them?
That's not in our power.
It's not in our interest.
It would increase the cost of production. A robot, food and all, costs 0.75 cents per hour. That's mighty important. All factories outside our island will go pop like chestnuts if they don't at once buy robots to lower cost of production.
And get rid of their workmen.
Why, yes, Miss Glory, but all work will eventually be done by living machines. There will be no poverty. Everybody will be liberated from the degradation of labor.
Of course. It's bound to happen. The robots will wash the feet of the beggar.
Oh, that sounds too much like paradise, Mr. Dolman. There's some virtue in toil and weariness.
Perhaps. But man shall be free and supreme. He shall have no other aim than to perfect himself.
You've bewildered me. I should like to believe this.
You're younger than we are, Miss Glory. You shall live to see it.
"10 years, Helena. We've been married 10 years today.
Mm.
You've been happy, haven't you, dear?
Of course, Harry. Everyone's been wonderful.
You know, Helena, I have to laugh when I think of what you said that first day you came to RUR. I want to liberate your robots. Treat them like human beings.
Yes. The Humanity League, I remember.
I said that every ship brings its saviors. But no one ever does anything but talk.
Yes. I was so fearfully impressed by you then. You were so sure of yourselves.
Well, we still are, I hope.
Perhaps you are. But in all these years, I've never lost a feeling of anxiety. Do you remember when the workmen of Europe revolted against the robots and the government turned them into soldiers, and the terrible war that followed?
We foresaw that, Helena. They were only passing troubles before new conditions were established.
And what are these new conditions?
Very good ones, Helena. Orders are pouring in. RUR is more prosperous than it has ever been.
And the robots?
At the peak of efficiency. Perfect machines.
Yes, machines.
Surely, Helena, you've forgotten all that nonsense about giving them souls. We have steered clear of all complications that would decrease their usefulness.
Are you sure about that?
Well, of course, dear. Dr. Gall still carries on his experiments, but only along the lines of increasing the robot's mechanical aptitude.
Tell me, Harry, don't you ever feel just a little bit conscience-stricken about all these travesties of human beings that fill the island?
What an absurd idea. I believe still, as I believed 10 years ago, that eventually the curse of labor will be lifted from mankind.
It's taking a long time, Harry.
Come in.
Hello, Dr. Gall.
Hello.
Glad you came, Gall. You're just the man to convince Helena.
Really? About what?
I was just telling her that all worthwhile improvements take time. Don't you agree with me?
Yes, Dillman, of course.
Good. Won't you stay a while? I've got to go to the factory. Try and reassure her, Gall. You know more about these things than any of us. I'll see you later, Helena.
Yes, sir.
I got your message, Madam Helena. What did you wish to see me about?
It's about Radius, Dr. Gall.
Yes.
He had another attack this morning.
Oh, what did he do?
He started smashing things.
Where is he now?
In the library.
Is he still raving?
No, I think he's gone back to his interminable reading.
I'll see what I can do. Radius. Radius.
What do you want?
Get up. Come in here. Go over to the fireplace. That's right.
Let me speak to him for a moment, Dr. Gall.
Certainly.
Radius, you're so much more intelligent than the rest. Dr. Gall went to a great deal of trouble to make you different. Why couldn't you control yourself?
Send me to the stamping mill.
But I don't want them to kill you.
Send me to the stamping mill.
Radius, why do you hate us?
You are not as strong as the robots.
Oh,
robots can do everything. You do nothing but give orders.
When I put you in the library, I wanted you to read and gain knowledge for the purpose of showing the world that you are our equals.
I don't want to be your equals. I want to be a master over others.
Oh!
So I'm just going to stop it there.
Oh, please.
Pretty clear which direction this is going. Very 1930s Skynet.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there are numerous. I mean, you say this is among the first, if not the first, story of this type as far as robots gaining sentience and wanting to dominate. Wow, because I mean, you can just see all the resulting things that are influenced by it. I mean, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is iRobot. Of course, numerous data episodes and Next Generation. I could go on. Maybe the themes are, are pretty universal in that sense. And plus, I mean, from the beginning, we said, okay, well, we're trying to build a slave class here. Of course, that also brings to mind the Planet of the Apes.
Yes,
thing, I guess.
Yes, right.
Says, well, they were there for amusement, and but they do good work, and they don't have any souls. I mean, we have to teach them how to have pain.
Right.
Which I found very fascinating. I said, I don't know if I've ever heard it put just that way before, in terms of having to give them pain so they know not to, crush their hands and machinery and so forth.
Give them pain for industrial reasons.
Yes.
Now I'm not Czechoslovakian, you're not Czechoslovakian, and we didn't grow up in, at the turn of the century, but the fact that this is all very Eastern Europe, this is all very much about, this working class, this labor class,
Mhm.
and that they're very much under the thumb of the people who create them. It's also especially at this time in human history, there's the idea of being God.
Yes.
The idea of creating. Now, in the play, these are not just metal with gears inside them. In the original script, it's androids that they create, with artificial flesh, artificial nerves, artificial, as you heard earlier, hearts and intestines and all that. So there is very much a playing God element to the creation of the robots.
Yes, it really harkens back more, I think, to the androids or the artificial people of the Alien series and things of that nature.
Right. We prefer the term artificial human.
Yes.
All right, back we go. We're about halfway through. It's Columbia Workshop, RUR Rossum's Universal Robots.
We shall put you in charge of some of your fellow robots.
I do not want to be a master over robots.
Then what do you want?
I want to be a master over people.
You're mad.
Send me to the stamping mill.
Radius,
What?
I want you to do something. Pick up that vase from the mantelpiece and bring it over to the window.
What?
Never mind. Obey me. Do you hear? Obey me.
No.
Do as I say. Pick up that vase. That's right. Now take it over to the window.
No.
Do you understand? Take it over to the window.
No. I do not have to obey you.
Oh,
Very well.
no.
You may go
Like
back to the
raising a
library.
teenager.
Go back to the library, Radius.
The robots are stronger than you.
It's so much like raising a teenager.
I better lock the library door.
What happened, Dr. Gall?
Heaven knows. Stubbornness. Anger, revolt. Do you know, Madam Helena? I don't think he's a robot any longer.
Do you think he has a soul?
He has something nasty.
Are all the new robots you've been making like Radius?
Some are more sensitive than others, but they're all more like human beings.
What about that young girl, Helena, you called her, after me? And the young man, Primus?
Helena and Primus are very beautiful, but listless, without life. I watch and wait for a miracle to happen.
Oh, you could only succeed in giving them real souls, in making them hate us less.
Madam Helena, when you first asked me to alter the Rossum formula, I warned you that all I could do was to change a physiological correlation, which meant that I could increase their irritability. But this can work two ways. I was afraid of it then. I'm still afraid. It's dangerous. It's against all my scientific principles.
Why didn't you refuse to do it then?
I thought my attitude toward you was sufficiently clear. All of us, that is. Well, there's nothing that we won't do for you.
Please, Dr. Gall, don't say any more.
Need I? Surely you must realize your own position, Helena. You're a beautiful woman, and the only woman on the entire island. As for us, although our work is with machines, we're men.
I love Harry, Dr. Gall. I always have. And in another way, I love humanity. I thought we were working together for the good of it.
I know. Rest assured, Madam Helena, that I shall continue my experiments. But perhaps we're playing with something we don't fully understand yet.
It's all so terrible. Tell me, Dr. Gall, why are no more children being born?
So many robots are being manufactured that people are becoming superfluous.
Oh, my.
All the universities are sending in petitions to restrict their production.
Love this poster.
They say that otherwise mankind will become extinct through lack of fertility.
Is it not true? Why don't we listen to them?
The shareholders in RUR won't listen. And the governments of the world won't listen. They want as many robots as they can get for their armies.
Oh, Dr. Gall, what's going to become of humanity?
God knows, Madam Helena. To us scientists, it looks like the end.
Man, that's chilling.
Yeah. This is a really high quality show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are they? Where's Fabry and Sussman? Why does it take so long? If they only would come. Here they are. What happened? Get down to the boat?
Yes, we got down there all right.
Are there people on board? Is there ammunition?
The ship is manned by robots. There is no ammunition.
Then what cargo is it carrying?
Leaflets. Nothing but leaflets. Here's one of them. Read it.
Robots throughout the world. We, the first international organization of Rossum's Universal Robots, proclaim man our enemy and an outlaw of the universe. We command you to kill all mankind. Spare no men. Spare no women. Save factories, transport, and raw materials. Destroy the rest and then return to work. Work must not be stopped. Why, ghastly. The devil. Is this actually being done, Fabry?
Evidently.
They were closing in on us as we came from the boat.
Let's take a look through the window.
Okay, I just have to stop it there.
No, I need a break. I'm getting scared here.
How fascinating is it? Now, again, the script was created in 1920. How fascinating is it that they have these robots and the way they communicate with each other is leaflets?
Well, some things you can anticipate for the future, John. Some things not so easily.
Right. So the idea of digital communication or even radio communication was not integrated into this story of robots. So robots. So these robots are mirroring human existence so much that they're actually printing propaganda for each other. Now, again, this is from Czechoslovakia. So that part of the world has a great labor versus management versus owners revolution, going on at all times. This is in the mind of the proletariat, if you will. Not that I know anything about any of this stuff. I took like one class in college. But here we are. The labor force is now, which is inhuman, is now banding together and killing men and women. And men and women were becoming, obsolete anyway because the birth rates were so far down. A lot of things here.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Still, and John, you did this to yourself earlier, so I'll do it to myself now, if I may.
Please do.
I must have been channeling this show and this writer. Again, sorry for the shameless plug, but
but this is made to order, which you wrote.
It is exactly. Thank you for mentioning it, because obviously the situation is a little bit different. It starts off in a banal sense as far as having an Android dating service, and then it goes on from there. But the themes are very similar. And 100 years later, when I wrote my book, every bit as haunting and chilling, as we say. So knowing that this comes from 1920 as far as originally written, really impressive.
And that blows my mind. And literally 100 years later, you wrote your story.
Exactly.
Made to order. Fantastic. Which, by the way, if you want to look for that or any of Joe Townsel's stories, by all means, go to joetownsel.com.
Thank you, sir.
You ready to get back in there?
Let's do it.
I think we might be looking at the third act, the third and final act. So
I'm getting goosebumps. I gotta rub my arms a little bit.
The house. There are some people in the electrical works. Fabry, telephone them. Right.
No use. The wire's been cut.
Who is to blame for all this? Nobody is to blame except the robots. No. It is we who are to blame. Gall, Buttman, Dunn, and Fabry. Hallmeyer, myself.
What do you mean?
For our own selfish ends. For profit. We have destroyed mankind. Now we'll burst with all our greatness. Rubbish, men. Mankind cannot be wiped out so easily. It's our fault. Our fault. No, I'm to blame for this. For everything that's happened.
You, Gall?
Yes. I changed the robots.
Changed? You...
What did you say you did? I changed the character of the robots. I changed the way of making them. Just a few details about their bodies. Chiefly their irritability.
Damn it, Gall, why? What did you do it for? Why didn't you say anything to us?
I did it in secret. I was transforming them into human beings. In certain respects, they're already above us. They're stronger than we are.
And what's that got to do with the revolt of the robots?
Everything, in my opinion. They've ceased to be machines. They're already aware of their superiority, and they hate us. They hate all that is human.
Dr. Gore, you admit changing the ways of the robots?
Yes.
Did you know what the outcome of your experiment might be?
I was bound to reckon with such a possibility.
Why did you do it then?
For my own satisfaction. The experiment was my own.
That's not true, Dr. Gold.
Helena, what do you know about it?
He did it because I wanted it. Tell him, Dr. Gold. Didn't I ask you?
I did it on my own responsibility.
Don't believe him, Harry. I asked him to give the robots souls.
This has nothing to do with the soul.
I thought that if they were more like us, they'd understand us better. They couldn't hate us if they were only a little more human.
Nobody can hate more than a man.
Oh, don't speak like that, Harry. It was so terrible, this cruel strangeness between us and them. That's why I asked Dr. Gold to change the robots. I swear to you that he didn't want to.
But he did it.
Because I asked him.
I did it for myself as an experiment.
No, Dr. Gold. I knew you wouldn't refuse me.
Why?
You know, Harry.
Yes. Because he's in love with you, like the rest of them. But it doesn't mean very much now. We're done for.
Wait, I have a plan. We can negotiate.
Negotiate?
Yes. What about the original formula? Without the secret of their manufacture, they'll all die out in 20 years. I'll say to them, if you allow us to get away safely, we'll allow you to manufacture yourselves.
This is a fearful decision. We'd be selling the destiny of mankind. Are we to sell? Fabry, what do you say?
Sell.
Gall?
Sell. Sell, of course.
Alquist?
As God wills.
Very well. Shall be as you wish, gentlemen. I'll fetch the manuscript from the strong box.
No. Harry, it's not there.
Not there? Then where'd you put it?
I must tell you everything, Harry. Only forgive me.
Forgive you?
Yes. I burnt the manuscript and the 2 copies.
Helena, well, you're joking, Helena. God. It's not possible.
Your box is empty.
But Helena, why?
When I saw the way Dr. Gold's experiments were turning out, I realized how hopeless it all was. People being killed by the robots and no babies being born to replace them. I wanted all of us to go away. I wanted to put an end to the factory. Forgive me, Harry.
Good Lord. Gall, could you draw up Rossman's formula from memory?
Out of the question. It's too complicated.
Oh, try. Our lives depend on it.
With experiments, it might take years. But without them, it's impossible.
God in heaven, we're done for.
Harry, I've destroyed you.
We can't blame you, Helena. Perhaps in your own way, you were right. Lights have gone out.
Oh.
The electric works have been taken. That must be the signal for the attack.
God help us. They'll be coming now.
Goodbye, Helen.
You forgive me, Harry.
Yes, I forgive you. I forgive you.
Dang.
Don't! Oh! No! No! Help! Help!
No! No!
Oh!
Radius! No! Don't kill me! Radius!
Finished her? Yes. Finished the others?
Oh.
All except him. He is the last man. Wait. Leave him. He is a man. Kill him. Yes. Kill him. He is called Alquist. He works with his hands like a robot. We will need him to show us how to make ourselves. Otherwise, we will all die.
Kill me. Kill me.
No, you will work. You will build for us. You will serve us. Robots of the world! Robots of the world! The power of man has fallen. A new world has arisen. The rule of the robots. March!
Oh, God.
My goodness.
I'll never find it. Never. Call. Call. Oh, How were the robots made? If I only could learn the answer. That mirror. What does it show me? Leering eyes, trembling chin. So that's what the last man looks like. Oh, I am too old. Too old. No. No, I must find it. I must search. I must never stop. Never. Yes? Who is it?
Master, the Central Committee of Robots is here to see you.
Send them in. I can do nothing for them. What do you want?
Master, the machines will not do the work. The skin will not adhere to the flesh, nor the flesh to the bones. 8 million robots have died this year. Within 20 years, none will be left. Tell us the secret of life. Teach us to multiply, or we perish.
I am powerless. Find me human beings. There may be a way.
Master, we have searched the world. You are the only one left.
Laughter. Laughter. Who is laughing? Human beings. Come forward. Who are you?
I am the robot Primus.
I am the robotess Helena.
Turn around, girl.
No.
What? You're timid. You're shy.
Sir, do not frighten her.
You would protect her. When was she made?
2 years ago.
By Dr. Gall?
Yes. Like me.
I must test them further. Laughter, timidity, protection. Take the girl into the dissecting room. I wish to experiment on her.
No. No, you shall not. You shall not.
What is she to you, Primus? One Helena more or less in the world. What does it matter?
I will not live without her. I will go myself.
If you go in there, Primus, and I do not, I shall kill myself.
I will not let you. Men, you shall kill neither of us.
Why?
We belong to each other.
You belong to each other. Go, Adam. Go, Eve. The world is yours.
The Columbia Workshop has presented as the 36th production in a series devoted to experimental radio, Carl Čapek's famous story of the robots RUR. The Columbia Workshop is arranged and directed by Irving Reese. Bernard Herrmann composed the musical score for this production.
Bernard Herrmann.
Next week, by special arrangement with Radio Guide magazine, the Columbia Workshop will present the 6th American performance of Mr. Reese's original radio play, St. Louis Blues. Your comments, suggestions, and criticisms are always welcomed by the Workshop staff. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Well, there you go. That is Columbia Workshop presenting to you RUR Rossum's Universal Robots. Mr. Townsell, how did you feel about that ending? How did you feel about the story? What are your feelings about RUR?
Well, John, I got to tell you, I mean, again, given when this was written and the speculative nature of it from way back in 1920, I'm thoroughly impressed. The production values were excellent. I mean, it was easy to follow.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of so many wonderful things that have come since. And I'm not going to plug my book again, but things
made to order. By Joe Townsell. I'll plug it.
One in a long line of I'll dare say great efforts in this theme. But I was during the show, I was actually looking for an old Night Gallery episode. I couldn't find it easily, but it was what would have been 75 years later almost.
Yes.
A story that just really scared me as a kid was androids that were basically abused by their owners, and then of course they were given the ability, and they were there's domestics and so forth, maids, butlers, what have you, and they were given the ability to defend themselves, and guess what happened?
Right.
They took over.
Right.
I find it also interesting that as we got into the 1950s, last week we were talking a lot about the paranoia of the bomb and so forth.
Yeah.
I think as we got into the 50s, we also saw a little bit of a variation here. And I know I'm probably dating it incorrectly, but what I'm referring to is a movie called and book Colossus, the Forbin Project, where we got into kind of a more benevolent domination of the human race by robots, robots. So like I said, many wonderful themes, but just judging this play and this story on its own, regardless of what came after that influenced those things. Wow. I mean, we went from swashbuckling this week to spine tingling. I mean, it was very effective.
I'm really
despite
glad
our jaded natures here in 100 years later. I mean, it really was effective. And as far as the ending, I think I could have gone either way. I mean, part of me wanted it to end just when there was the last human and they were gonna but I do see the value of the Adam and Eve thing. And again, I have to remember that was new then. I mean, we've seen the Adam and Eve chestnut many times since.
Yes.
But I mean, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great selection, John.
We were joined by Craig Lubin, who's watching, and we love to have Craig on the show. And he does point out the abused robot paradigm was used most recently in The Orville, and it was an allegory on slavery. Definitely a great connection. I think slavery, labor, the low placement on the human level, especially in the beginning of the 1900s, given to labor, and that owners and customers were much higher on the level. I also make a connection with what was in this script in terms of Gall saying, I wanted to make them more human. I wanted to make them more irritable, which was hilarious. Like, how do you make a robot? How do you make a robot more human? You make him resentful.
Well, there's that, and plus, I also have to give kudos to the fact that, as far as the multi-layers of the writing here, because the robots hate us now. I said, do they really? Do they hate the weakness that in them that their creators represent? Ooh. Or was what made them so dangerous was the fact that they absolutely have no passion?
Right.
They're just mindlessly conquering at that point. So lots to think about there.
I also love that there are parallels even today. This play, RUR, is still put up on stages all over the world. It's public domain. It's a very old story, of course. It's 100 years old. But I always wonder when people bring up, and you and I have never discussed this, Joe, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Sure. One of the great dangers that is predicted right now, alongside other great dangers like loss of resources, failure to preserve the climate here on the planet. These things can cause extinctions, but one of the things that's also offered up as something that could cause an extinction of us, of human beings, is AI, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And I know I always asked the question because I am pretty non-scientific and I am fairly naive. I would always ask the question, who would do that? Who would create an AI that would then want to eliminate humans? Like, what human would create that? Well, someone would. There is someone nihilistic enough out there to do what Gall did in this story and give them the power and the motivation to wipe out the human race just because they could. At least that's how I see it. I don't know if you see it that way as well, Joe.
Well, along those lines, sure. I mean, what is considered to be very simply the most responsible way of perpetrating the species, and that is to replace yourself. Now, the means of which you replace yourself can become in different forms. Dr. Gall and others like him that have come since have replaced themselves with something that he hopes is superior, just like we would do our own children. We want them to have a better life and existence than we do now. And I think that's a big part of it. I mean, I don't think it's as simple as just being psychotic and just wanting to see the world burn. I think there's an altruistic motivation there that goes horribly wrong.
On the other side of the coin, there is the sense of the progenitor, of the I want to create something better than me that I can leave on the planet once I'm gone. Yeah, very interesting point there. I am so lucky to have Joe Townsell as my co-host on this show. I can't even tell you. Joe, any final thoughts? Because we should probably wrap this one up. It's gone an hour.
Time flies, as they say, and it's certainly true. And you're doing the show with you, John. Thank you. And final thoughts. Listen, I mean, there's just so many wonderful things in addition to this that we can point folks to learn, to see more about the themes addressed here as far as AI. And we've thrown out quite a few tonight. Yeah, made to order.
Made to order. Found at joetownsell.com, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. I think the last thing I'll point people to, just because I've been revisiting it lately myself, not the original classic series, but the newer Outer Limits, despite being an anthology show, address these themes a lot in a series of connected episodes.
That's very true.
So look for those, check those out. And, I think to wrap it up, Jean-Luc Picard probably said it best a long time ago. We are machines too, only biochemical in nature.
Excellent point. That's very true. I also want to give Craig Lubin final word here. As a software engineer, I am not too worried about our current AI capabilities. Example applications of it, like our phone's text completion, kind of suck. Oh, now you can sleep.
In response, Craig, let me just say,
seriously, woo, yeah. Seriously, because my car will park itself. It doesn't always do a great job. So, all right. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on Haunted Radio from Space. What a treat it is to do this show for you. We will be back next Sunday night. I'm not even sure what we're going to be watching or listening to. Joe, maybe you and I should have a little discussion, try to figure out what radio shows I can curate for our third episode. But
Absolutely.
This being the second episode, thank you so much for watching it. And Joe Townsell, thank you so much for being with me for this show.
And John Weber, thank you. And John Weber, thanks again. And John Weber, thanks once more.
Good radio rules, ladies and gentlemen. And Craig Lubin, thank you for jumping in when you got a chance. We know you're really busy tonight, so thanks for that. And folks, that's it. See you next week.